and I'd like to be able to talk to you about this thing I call a Mindsweep. But before we talk about Mindsweeps, let's talk about the work of our lives. You see, more often than not, when we work or when we work at something, it doesn't mean we're doing effective work. Very often we get productive, meaning we do stuff, or effective, at efficiency, meaning we get better and better at doing work, but it's not necessarily the work that has to be done. Meaning we haven't really figured out what the useful work to do is. Meaning we end up doing good stuff. It's not that we end up doing bad stuff, it's that we end up doing good stuff to replace the really critical, important stuff that we should be doing. So much so that what happens is that we waste time doing stuff that really isn't important. That's a funny thing though. It's not really time that we waste, but energy and attention. When our head isn't clear, we end up wasting our energy in every single direction, and we end up not being able to focus on the really important stuff. And in reverse, we cannot even direct our energy on the really important stuff. It's just that we're not there. We're not capable of doing it. Our head's in the muck, our head isn't clear, or we're occupied with stuff which is really not that important. We've lost the ability to ask, what are we spending our time on? And what do we really have to work on? We've lost the ability to identify what really matters, what really makes a difference, what we really have to be doing. It's that if we don't know what's on our plate, meaning what's the totality of the stuff we have to do, if we don't know everything that happens to be on our plate, the sum total of the stuff we actually have to be doing, well, we cannot from there figure out what's actually important. Critical or essential. We end up doing stuff instead of the really useful work of our lives. It just doesn't happen. Or it can happen very randomly, sporadically, and poorly. So what I've been proposing we do is we do this thing I call a Mindsweep. Which is a way of working on the mind that happens to use triggers as a way to walk around the times and places and events and details of our lives. We walk through space and time, events, to-dos, the details of our lives, and we're able to assess how much energy we have and what are real priorities and passions are. So much so that we don't end up wasting time on just random stuff, which is a really funny way to waste our lives. So, to do that, we do a mind sweep, and a mind sweep that goes through these triggers will enable us to figure out the missing pieces, the stuff we aren't even aware of. You know what it's like when you seem to have a feeling that you should be doing something, but you can't quite place a finger on what it is or what it should be? Well, that happens when your head is too full. And a mind sweep is a way to get from a too full or cluttered brain to clear, or clarity of mind. And what clarity of mind does is it removes friction and blindness. So we know what we actually should be doing, and we know how to not get in our own way. Essentially, a mind sweep helps us to not be that stupid. A mind sweep will enable us to go from not knowing to knowing what we actually should be doing in the next moment, in this moment, in the succeeding moments. So we go from just random doing or busyness to the actual work of our lives. And the evidence we'll have for if we've done this right is that our head is in the game instead of just, us randomly being out there. You've had that experience. You're talking to someone, but they're not even there. You're doing something, but you end up doing the wrong thing because you're just not there. You're not in the game. A mind sweep will enable us to be more in the moment of flow. It'll take you from just anywhere you are randomly to where you usefully should be, to where you usefully can be. It'll take us from that feeling where we always forget something, or we're horribly disorganized and there's a feeling of something's terribly wrong and we're overwhelmed, and the feeling that there's something critical that we should be tending to that we haven't tended to yet, to having a clear head and the capability to act. It'll take us from all points, including giving us the capability to have an idea of the entire map and being able to take that map and work on the specific tasks of the moment. So, I hope this makes sense. Essentially, a mind sweep will enable us to take what's in our heads and remove the unessential from our heads and make clear the stuff that we actually should be doing at any particular given moment. And that's it for you. I hope you join us soon for this process we call Mindsweep. And at the moment, we already have 3 kinds of Mindsweep. A general Mindsweep that goes with our weekly review of stuff that is on our dashboards. There's now also a focus Mindsweep, which enables us to figure out what we actually should be tracking or where we should have the lens of our attention on. And a momentum Mindsweep, which enables us to focus on the things we should be tracking so we're on track for the grander goals of our life. Meaning we've switched from just the ability to look at what we should be focusing on to systems that make things automatic. So we automatically do what needs to get done. Hope this helps. This has been Strix, and see you soon.